Bird mint, and it sold out. That's the bad news. The good news is we've got something just as good, and for some of you it will be even better, another hummingbird mint collection, because this is in garden trials. This was the star in the Cottage Farms garden trials, where they try everything to make sure they're bringing us the best. This Rosie Posie was truly best in class. It was the one that Katie and her team from Cottage Farms says that, oh, there's Katie. This needs to come to QVC because it is going to bloom like an annual, but come back every year. And that's just the start of what makes this so great. We're gonna do all 3 of these for 5 easy payments of $7.80. We're gonna ship them to you at the time that's right. Katie Dubow is here with us from Cottage Farms. So Katie, I know you've been so excited about the Rosie Posie. Yes. Listen, you and I both know, I can run down to the depot store and find hummingbird mint. Right. It's not going to be like this. What made this such a standout in the trials?
So we don't just, at Cottage Farms, we don't just bring you any old plant that you can get at the garden store.
Well,
we
why
call
would
ourselves,
Why would you get plants off of television if they were the same that you could get in your local town?
Exactly. We call ourselves the grower's grower because we bring you the things that the landscapers and the specialty gardeners are using in their landscapes. And so when you saw that picture of me, that was a trial garden. I go around in the summer, I know it's a tough job, someone has to do it, and I visit what the top, here it is, that picture, what some of our top growers in the country are trialing for new hummingbird mint. Now this was already a great plant. This is a plant that attracted pollinators, had a fragrance, and bloomed its head off, but this is better. So it is always going to be in bloom. We call these at Cottage Farms perpetuals. When you hear me say that moniker, that means that this is a plant that is blooming non-stop, but it's a perennial. So hummingbird mint is a plant that comes back year after year, but it blooms like an annual.
But also, it has a better shape. You know, I've grown hummingbird mint in the past that just got so leggy.
Right.
This is a really tidy, pretty plant. In fact, at first glance, I'm going to be honest with you, I wouldn't have said, oh, that's hummingbird mint. It might take me a second to like smell the leaves and the flowers and say, oh, that's hummingbird mint. It's a kind of a new shape almost.
And that's something that if you haven't grown plants before, it can't be understated, because sometimes one just was much taller than the others. These are always going to grow in this beautiful shape. It's also a very unusual flower shape.
Yeah, the flowers look different too. Tell me about that.
Cool.
Like, this is so awesome.
It is so awesome.
They almost remind me of like sweet peas or something. You know what I mean? Like it's like if sweet peas and hummingbird mint had a baby. That's more kind of, you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Like that's almost more of what the flowers are, a different shape than the hummingbird mint.
Yeah, they're these long conical flowers, and it's perfect. I mean, I know you just had Roxanne on talking about her hummingbird feeder. These individual flowers are perfect.
Oh my gosh, wait.
For the hummingbirds to come in.
Can I put these in a container?
You can.
Because get a container, you put 2 in the garden. Put 1 in like maybe your whiskey barrel planter, and then stick a shepherd's hook in there with Roxanne's bird feeder. May I recommend, well, actually any of them, but the teal or the red multi with this. Wow.
Yes.
And then enjoy.
Yes.
All the hummingbirds.
So you are going to attract the pollinators here, but what is really unusual about Rosie Posie also is the color. So you're seeing a great example of the flower color, which comes out in late spring all the way through to summer. And then in fall, what's really fascinating, and even as some of the flowers themselves fall, it's left behind that dark magenta. So you really get like this two-tone on Rosie Posie. You get after the lighter flower and the darker.
After the flowers have bloomed, what's left retains a magenta color, so they still almost look like they're in bloom.
Exactly.
So we are getting 3 seasons really almost worth of color.
Yes.
And the best part is, you can sort of see starting right there, as those petals fall off, it'll still say that bright magenta. You're getting something that blooms like an annual. One thing about hummingbird mint, if you want a perennial, something that comes back every single year, but you want it to bloom like an annual, hummingbird mint has always been one of the best choices.
Absolutely.
This is now even better than what we had in the past.
Even better bloom, longer bloom time in your garden, because I know that's what you're looking for. You're looking for plants that are going to be in bloom nonstop. I put in my garden annuals, perennials, trees, shrubs. I use everything. But what I want my plants to do is work for me. I want them to to also be easy to care for. This hummingbird mint is, if you're a beginner, it is so incredibly easy to grow. It is drought tolerant. It can handle pretty much any kind of soil. So if you live in a part of the country that has sand or clay, it can take that. And it loves full sun. It can tolerate a little bit of shade. So if you are thinking about places in your garden where this goes, it really works for most of you in the country and most soil types. So it's one of those plants that is so easy to grow and has a big payout.
And like lavender, hummingbird mint, not only do the flowers smell, but the leaves are very fragrant. So the pollinators really love that, but deer and rabbits, they don't like it. They don't enjoy the smell.
No, they don't.
I like the smell, they don't. Here's what we're gonna ship you: 3 actively growing, very healthy plants. And then how long until one of these starts getting flowers and looks like what we see in front of us here?
So you will absolutely get flowers this season. Depending on where you live, this could either be the end of your first growing season or season 2, because we aren't shipping the plants out right now. We are taking these plants and you're reserving them. So you're holding them. As Sandra said, we sold out of our last hummingbird mint collection. So you love this plant. You want a plant in your garden that will bloom for you like an annual, but returns year after year. It's the hummingbird mint. So you're reserving them. We will only ship them to you when your last chance of frost has passed. So you know when you receive the plants, you can actually be confident you can put them in the garden. And spring has come.
And if you picked up our collection from last week, this would work beautifully with it. If you missed out on last week, guess what? It's still okay. This is the hummingbird mint that was the star in summer 2024 garden trials because of the bloom. I love the shape of it. It's a little bit tighter. It doesn't get so leggy, and it's gorgeous for months and months and months on end. And I always look, last night I was looking out my kitchen window watching like 10 deer. And thinking, they're so pretty, you're going to someday destroy my plants again in the spring. The deer really don't like this so much.
They
That's
don't.
great.
That's great.
You also give us a gotta grow guarantee.
We do, because I love gardening and I want you to love it. So I want you to try these plants. I am so confident that you'll love them. We guarantee them for an entire year, which we do with all of our perennials. And with our annuals, we guarantee them for 90 days. So please get in touch with us at the number and email address below if you are dissatisfied for any reason.
And of course, you can also pick up their fertilizer that is available. Also, don't forget